Feeling resentful of my husband after our wedding. Dr. My husband and I got married 2 months ago. And I'm still feeling resentful of how he acted during wedding planning. Will this feeling ever go away? I wanted a small courthouse wedding with only immediate family. And my husband insisted we have a big wedding. I tried to suggest a smaller wedding as a compromise. And he said having all his friends and family was very important to him. Fair enough. But I really tried to stress to him that he would need to take on some of the planning. He couldn't assume I would do the entire thing like his friends' wives had done. As you can probably guess, that didn't happen. Not only did he not help that much, he actively made things harder for me instead of easier big ideas he wouldn't help execute on or even research. And for the few things he did take on, procrastinated to the point it caused issues. On top of that, he wasn't appreciative for the work I did do. Instead complaining about how it wasn't the wedding he wanted again. He had lots of big ideas that weren't really feasible. Or if so, would take time I didn't have. I know some of this is my fault. When he stopped putting effort in, I should have put my foot down about it being his responsibility, instead of doing it myself. I pushed through because all my married friends told me they had also felt resentful toward their husband, families, etc. during wedding planning, but that it went away after the wedding. That's been true for me when it came to my parents and other family. Little disagreements we got into during the wedding now feel like water under the bridge. And I can appreciate that while they did many annoying things, they ultimately meant well. But my frustration with my husband feels bigger. I know the obvious answer is to talk to him, but I don't know what I'd even say beyond what we've already talked about from when we fought during wedding planning. And there's not anything concrete he can do now to change what happened. Did anyone else feel this way after their wedding? Will it ever go away? How? P.S. More than anything, I wish I had some support in this. So please try not to be too harsh or sarcastic with me. There's so many things I wish I had done differently. But it's too late now. Be forewarned that this dynamic will continue in various forms as long as you let it happen, with the most serious iteration of it involving his role in child rearing. The only way for that to change is if you're willing to walk away when it becomes intolerable, and he's willing to change BC of it. After my first husband, I treat this kind of behavior as a red flag, as he did this to me in multiple ways in our relationship until it became too much for me. Do not have children with him. I am sorry. Having children with a man who acts like this wants it all and wants you to do it will be a nightmare for you. Don't believe his promises either. I will help. Of course, nope. Sit down with him and tell him you resent the way he treated you during the wedding planning. And you won't tolerate this again. He has learned that he can make plans for you and you will follow through with them, and there's no consequences if he doesn't follow through. You might need to consider counseling, because going forward in this marriage with this resentment unresolved will never end well, and it seems like your partner might not really care that he didn't carry his weight in the planning. This will definitely carry over to other areas of your life. This man will want kids and then do absolutely nothing to help you, while making all the work you do seem insignificant. Get out while you can. It's cute how his visions and grand ideas were so important to him that he completely dumped them all on you and fucked up the things that he did attempt to do. This is not on you. I've been there, and I can tell you that this will continue. Unless you are relentless in reinforcing the notion that if something is important to him, he is required to be a full participant in making it happen. No one gets to just be the ideas guy and flat out refuse to feel bad about it. Your feelings are valid. I think some individual counseling to help you learn to better advocate for yourself, and then couples counseling I would go ahead and tell him that you have no good memories of your wedding and he has best learn how to be a partner as he's off to a bad start. Be careful. This guy can turn into the husband that demands sex from an exhausted woman he never helps and demands a goddamn parade if he loads the dishwasher. He's bringing sexist expectations into your marriage. And you guys need to go to counseling because it's very likely that this isn't limited to wedding planning. You're newlyweds, so there's a chance to address this before it get deeply entrenched into the fabric of your marriage. People can grow if they choose to. Tell him you guys need counseling. If he doesn't take you seriously, it's a really bad sign and absolutely heartbreaking. I hope he chooses to address this with you. Oh dear. This isn't going to get better if you have kids. He knows he can wear you down, make you do work and then complain about it. Maybe see a counselor to help you set boundaries now. Sister. Your husband just used weaponized incompetence before you would even marry him. I know Reddit is a meme for commenters always asking for divorce. But this is a major red flag. Couple therapy is needed. Your happiness and all your future is at stake. I think it goes away if the husband takes on an appropriate amount of responsibility around the home marriage. Do you see him stepping up now? My husband and I had a similar dynamic around our wedding. We went to a lot of couples therapy about it and I was angry. He did the work though, and whenever we our friends get engaged he unprompted by me talks the guy about how he fucked up and to not make the same mistake he did. We also recently had our house renovated that was more complicated and more expensive than our wedding. We divided up the tasks at the outset and he managed everything for his parts of the project, without me having to intervene or follow up on timelines, etc. I had a similar experience. Yes. He did absolutely nothing to help with the planning. And at the actual wedding he blew me off to get drunk with his friends. We've since divorced. But looking back, I wish I would have immediately annulled the marriage. It was not a one-time stress thing. It was a pattern of him dumping on me, disregarding me, and hurting me with no remorse. Tell him how he's made you feel one time. Only once. Let his reaction tell you everything you need to know. If he's genuinely sorry, he'll be mortified. If he's not, this is who he is. Leave and know you deserve better. My ex-husband did the same. It's called weaponized incompetence and is a form of abuse. Please drag his ass into therapy to address this with him. Do not sweep this under the rug. It needs calling out. You should talk to him about it. If you don't think the two of you communicate maturely enough for this to be anything other than a fight, get some help for the convo. If you can begin to communicate clearly and with empathy, this will help your marriage more than anything. Behold your future. It's time to either get some marriage counseling or to resign yourself to a lifetime of resentment. Because your husband is not a partner except when he feels like being one. It doesn't get better from here. It gets worse unless you take serious steps to change this dynamic and establish a healthier one. Right now, I can't help but think how this will spell out in the future. He wants the house remodeled but lags on choosing designs and materials. Won't go looking at fixtures. He wants to sign your future kids up for extracurricular activities but doesn't ever drive them. I think you married the wrong person and began to realize it once the train had already left the station. Also, you don't have good friends to go to for advice. Anyone telling you to let resentment build in the relationship is not giving good advice and are probably miserable in their own relationships. Wedding planning is stressful. Yes. But it is also fun to do together. Expecting to have help from the only other person the party is for, let alone the one who's making all the demands, is not high standards to have for a partner. Don't have kids with someone that treats you like this.